Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to be having a look at how you can use the cosine rule then to find a missing angle. All right, but what you need to be able to do first of all is to actually rearrange the cosine rule so that the angle part is by itself. So I want you to pause for a second, start off with this particular equation, and then try and rearrange it and get cos A by itself. So make cos A the subject. When you've had a go, hit play and I'll go through it with you. Okay, right, so let's have a look at how we can actually rearrange this particular equation. Well, the first thing we need to remember is this 2bc cos A is all attached. All right, and as I would say in class, I don't like the fact that I've got a negative, so I want to deal with that first of all. So instead of having a negative 2bc cos A, I'm going to add the 2bc cos A to both sides. That will give me this equation then. And remember, it's the cos A that I'm trying to get by itself. So the thing that's least involved at this point is the A squared, which is currently being added. So to get rid of that one, I need to subtract the A squared from both sides. That will give me this equation. And then again, finally, to get the cos A by itself, well, 2bc is multiplying cos A, so I'm going to divide by 2bc on both sides to give me this equation. And on the left-hand side, the 2bc's will cancel to leave me with this new formula. Now, it's totally up to you. For the exam, you need to know the cosine rule. The proper cosine rule is the one at the top. As long as you are confident that you can continually rearrange it without making mistakes, then you can get away with just learning the one at the top that is to use to find a missing side. However, if you think you're likely to make mistakes with that, then you can learn this as a second formula. So this is the cosine rule to find a missing angle, which is what I'm going to show you how to use. But again, you might want it on a flashcard, something that you need to make sure you can either learn to rearrange or learn this already rearranged formula. Right, so if we have a look at how we can use the rearranged formula, if we've got our triangle here and we're trying to find angle A, remember in the formula, the angle that is most important is labelled A, so we're going to keep this one A, hence little a will be 2 and little b and c will be our 3 and 4, doesn't matter which way round. Start off by filling in all the values that we know into our formula. Okay. So we end up with then 4 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 squared over 2 times 4 times 3, which we can then simplify. All right, so the 4 squared gives us 16, 3 squared 9, 2 squared 4, and 2 times 4 times 3 gives us 24. We can tidy up the numerator. That will give us 21 over 24. All right, but you need to remember at this point, all of this is equal to cos A. So we haven't dealt with the cos part yet. So we need to remember it's cos A equals 21 over 24. And to find angle A, we need to do the inverse cos. So that's that shift button on your calculator to get cos to the minus 1. And then when you pop that in your calculator, you should end up with an answer of 28.96 when it's been rounded to 2 decimal places. So that's how you can use the cosine rule for that. Again, you can use the original formula that we used last lesson, fill in all the values, work them all out, and then again, you are trying to make the cos A part the subject with all the values in, which you may want to give it a go at trying it that way and see if you can also get the same answer. Right, we're going to have a look at one more question together. So this one, slightly more of a wordy question. So the sketch map shows 3 Indian cities which make the tourist region known as the Golden Triangle. The distances are shown in kilometres. We are trying to find the angle at D, Delhi. So remember, they can label triangles with whatever they like, but you need to make sure that you label it with the letters that we need in the right place. So this one up here is the angle we're trying to find. That needs to be my angle A. All right, and then we can think it through as to which bits are labelled what afterwards. So we've got our standard formula that we can use. We're going to say capital A then is this one angle at the top. So little a will be 237. Little b and c, they've got it as little b is 259 and little c is 196, but it doesn't matter if those two are the other way round. We then need to substitute everything into our formula. So we've got cos of angle D is our 259 squared plus 296 squared minus 237 squared over 2 times 259 times 196. Well, you can work out all the squares and the denominator to give us that value. Simplify your numerator and you'll end up with that answer. But remember, that is equal to cos of d. Okay, so if we stick that in your calculator, remember not to round at that point. Okay, so keep it as the full answer on your calculator and use your answer button. But d is then equal to the inverse cos of 0.486, etc., which will give us 60.9.